University of Kentucky Sports, the Loyal BBN Fan Show, and it starts right now.
Welcome, Big Blue Nation. We're back here again on Thursday night, just like we was talking about being back on here last week. All the loyal BBN fans show that is in here, talking about this right now. We welcome you. Everything is just a great day to talk about sports, University of Kentucky sports. Leanne, how is your day? Everything going?
Oh, it's going good, Jimmy. Went and had lunch with my daughter. Ready to talk about some Kentucky basketball players.
Oh yeah, there's a couple things I just want to give some shout outs. I saw Rajon Rondo is going to be graduating. 116 student athletes are graduating this spring summer. So Rajon Rondo is going to be a graduate from University of Kentucky.
Congratulations, Rajon Rondo. That is
awesome. I know that they was talking. I just saw this not too long ago that recruit Ty Kenny, he is going to be playing with Overtime Elite in Abu Dhabi this coming month, for a tournament out there. So Pope had a picture of him and both of them, meeting and talking and stuff like that. Right. So it looks like we got a pretty good, heads up on maybe having him for, next year. And so we'll just keep on looking at it as a recruitment.
Well, going over there and playing, that's going to get him some good experience.
A lot of experience.
The talent is so different when you go overseas compared to what it is here in the United States. So that's really going to give him some good experience.
Yeah. Another shout out, Colin Chandler got married today. Him and Hannah, his wife, they tied the knot. Congratulations for both of them. Just
congratulations.
Yeah.
Colin and his new wife. What's up, Rick Brown?
Yeah.
How's it going tonight?
Yeah, he's the first one to get on it. I see, Big Mike in there, but I know the main thing
is a nice arena, Mike.
Yeah, over I guess over it because that's where
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. That Mike's been over there several times, so he's the one that would know. And I'm sure it's going to be a great experience for Kenny, being over there and with Overtime Elite, So
yeah.
Well, the main topic we're going to talk about, well, it's not a main topic, but we're going to talk about it right off the bat. And I know a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy going on. Kentucky and Louisville will start the season 11-11, November 11th, this coming year. And I know it's probably the earliest that Kentucky and Louisville has ever played in basketball in the beginning of the season. How do you feel with that, Leanne?
Oh, Jimmy. Let me just say.
Let me clear my throat, Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's complaining because it's on a Tuesday night. I get it. The parties, the getting all the friends together on Saturday, not having to go to work on Sunday. I totally understand. I totally get it. But at least we're playing. We know we'll have a couple of games before we play them to be able to get into ourselves, figure out what we need to do. We'll have a little bit of warm-up time before we actually play them. Yeah. And it's a marketing thing, I'm telling you. Since we became the LLC, there's nothing on TV on Tuesday nights in November.
No. You are true. Yeah.
So we are going to capitalize on viewing across the nation because what else is there to watch? Number one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I think it was a whole marketing thing. I think it's going to bring money in.
I believe so too. And, I was against it. We kind of talked last night and, we didn't argue about it, but we just gave our opinions. But now that I'm thinking about it, if we're going to play the game, it's going to be 100% of every sports basketball fan is going to be watching that game on Tuesday night. And I would say it's going to be a 7:00 game. You know, if you want to party, take a half a day off and then get ready. And, the game will be over at 9. You could party up until 11 or 12 or whatever it is. And if you could take off the next day, I know that, everybody wants that game on Saturdays and things, but this game, it's going to be the most watched rivalry game this coming year because it's going to be at the very beginning of the season. Louisville has to play just as early as Kentucky has to play. So when it really is early, it doesn't mean that it's early just for Kentucky. It's early for Louisville too. So
it's early for everybody.
Yeah.
Shout out Christopher Perry. How's it going tonight? What's up? Thank you for your kind words. We appreciate you, lady bass player. It is early, and yes, they're afraid of JQ.
Yeah, they're afraid of JQ.
Mercury, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing there, Mercury? But yeah, I've seen a lot of shows. They keep on saying that JQ ain't going to play. He ain't going to play. I'm like, we've already seen a lot of evidence to show that he is going to be ready by September going into, October. He's going to be on this court, and I believe he will play that Louisville game.
Yeah, I think so too, but we'll get to that because he's our...
He's going to be, one of the topics that we're going to be talking about today, and he's our spotlight player that we're going to be talking about later on in the show. But the thing is, we just saw Mercury. He just came up, and Mercury, hey, you read our minds because that's who we're going to get to talk about right now. Is
next up, Reese Potter.
Yeah, 7'1". They list him about 215 pounds. He's going to have to pick up a little bit of weight. He's going to be 2-year player for us. He's already played 2 years at Miami. He only really played about 17 minutes a game, but for his game play, he averaged real good field goals, and he averaged real good on the 3-point line. So, Leanne, what do you think he's going to fit in with Kentucky, and how do you think his plays be?
Really, I think as far as Reese goes, he's got really good ball handling ability. He can defend the rim. He's not afraid to go inside. He can make a 3-point shot, but I think his best game is like ball handling and defending the rim. I really think that he's going to be a presence in the paint. I think that he's somebody that will come in and be able to help set screens.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be somebody that might be good at backdoor plays, the way I've seen him, because he'll come and he'll start back and he'll start going towards the goal, but then he'll back up, but then he comes back around. So I think he's going to be like a sneaky player. I think he's somebody we'll be able to sneak in pretty good.
I do too. I mean, he had 56 games, and he started 11 games. So he does have experience against Division I basketball. I mean, good basketball. I mean, it wasn't like he was playing Division I or Division II or anything like that. He does have the ability to get in there and play, and it's going to be great. I saw that Mercury said he thought he was 7'2". Now I have said seen that he is listed at 7'2", but I've seen 7'1" also. But he's got a wingspan of about 7'8", 7'9". So I mean, regardless, 7'1", 7'2".
If you look though, every single player in basketball is listed. You'll see it as 1 inch off or back. Like
it could be with their shoes on, shoes off.
Maybe they had on thicker socks that day. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean,
Christopher, thank you.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, Christopher. That's very nice. I appreciate it.
But I mean, he had offers from UNC kind of looked at him and was really kind of wanting him as a role player like Kentucky's used. Washington, I heard they kind of gave him a little bit more money than maybe what Kentucky was going to give him, but that was just some kind of speculations.
Right.
Louisville, UConn, New Mexico State, Dayton, California, Wisconsin. A lot of teams were looking at this at Reese.
Right. Mercury, his wingspan's like 7'8".
Yeah.
7'9", 7'8", 7'9".
Yeah, 7'9", 7'8" is what I've heard. Yeah.
Another thought I've had about Reese, and I know you and I have discussed this a little bit, as far as possible red shirt. You
Yeah.
know, they were looking for someone. You know, Pope had said in an earlier interview last week or something that he was possibly looking for someone that would step in red shirt. I really don't think we could find somebody better because
No.
number one, he's got 2 years left. Throw a red shirt on him, he's got 3.
Yep.
If you put him in practices against our shooting guards, our point guards, you know, everybody else, then he will be able to. We don't have 7-1 guys that we can go up against in practice and practice shooting over, practice getting around, and things like that, you know. So he is going to be a huge part of the team, whether he's playing in the game or whether he's instrumental in practice, helping these guys to better their game on the court. So
Well,
I think whatever they decide to do with him is going to be the perfect role for him at this time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Regardless, he's going to be in practice, whether he red shirts or plays.
Right.
I mean,
right.
but and he's the tallest player on this team now. I think Jelly, he's like 6'10", maybe, or 6'11",
6'11".
maybe like that. You know, Quainton's is 6'10", 6'11". Garrison's like 6'11". So, you know, he's going to be the top dog. And when he is in there in practice, those guards, they're going to think twice about going in, you know, playing against somebody. And, you know, and it's going to help out, you know, Jelly. It's going to help out Quainton's. It's going to help out Garrison. I mean, it's just this is an all-around great situation that Pope has put us in.
It really is, because you have to figure too, you know, like you were saying, you know, he doesn't have to be redshirted. You know, he'll be instrumental in practice because, like, we're going to go up against teams like Florida and Duke and you know, Gonzaga or whoever, and you know, then we've got Illinois with two Avicic, you know.
Yeah.
So you've got to stop and think. There's these tall guys out here. How do we get around them?
Yeah.
How do we change our game? And I think that Potter is going to be a big presence in that scheme of things.
Well, that's just
what's up, Peanut?
Yeah. Mercury, yeah, it said we was just going to be nasty this year. Yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Go ahead, Mercury. You said that you have a question.
Got a question?
Well, we'll answer it. But yeah, I mean, it's like left-handed players. You can't. Now we've got 3 or 4 left-handed players on this team. 3, and it's hard to even practice or scrimmage against somebody like that because you just can't find them on the street all day. And so Kentucky's going to know how that is.
Right. And I think that it's really, I don't know. Mike says if he is a walk-on, does Pope get a transfer? Okay, to answer that real quick, I did see something today that stated that Pope is still looking for one more shooting guard.
Yes.
As far as my nose is just allergies, y'all. But he is still looking for one more shooting guard. I don't know that Pope will add anyone else. I think that would depend on Owe. It's on Owe. I want to purchase a Loyal BBN shirt. How do I go about doing that? Loyal BBN Fan Show.
Mm-hmm. Just go on the website.
Just Loyal BBN Fan Show. You can order one there.
Mm-hmm. And it'd be shipped directly to your house. So
yeah, and mine my shirt got to me in like 2 days, maybe 3.
Yeah, it does not take long.
Me a hat. I need to get a hat.
Well, I wish he had a visor. I don't like hats, but I love visors.
Dude, do you have a fanny pack too? Oh my gosh, sorry.
Me? No.
You're talking about a visor.
I wear a visor because I play golf. And I like for my head to breathe. You got a hat on, you just sweat. But with a visor on, you know, it airs everything out.
I get it. I'm not a golfer. The windmill gets in my way.
No, well, I don't do
66. How's it going? You're computer illiterate. Okay, so just go into your search bar and type in the Loyal BBN Fan Show.
Yeah.
And hit enter, and it will take you straight to it. The dates of the draft combine. Was it July? Didn't we?
Because
we talked about that.
Well, it's actually it's coming up this month because
end of May, May 28th.
Yeah, because the May 28th is the last day you can take your name out of the draft.
That's right.
So it's before June. Yeah, because June is when actually they have the NBA draft. But it should be a couple days on a weekend right before the 28th.
Look, I'm looking. It's May 11th through the 8th. Wait a minute. The draft combine is May 11th through the 18th.
Okay, yeah.
And the G League Elite is May 9th through the 11th. So the NBA gets a week. The G League gets a weekend.
Yeah.
Like just the 3 days. Mercury, I'm sure PayPal would probably be fine. Oh, look, Mike even gave you the link. PayPal should be fine. It would just go in as a credit card. And there's usually a little thing at the bottom that says PayPal.
Yeah, usually there is a thing where you can use PayPal. Yeah.
That's when Mercury, that's the last day to take your name to either stay in the draft or get out of the draft.
Yeah. I've heard it was the 28th at midnight. It might be the 29th
at midnight.
At midnight, yeah.
But that's the date to either stay in the draft or go back to college.
Yeah.
That's what that date is.
Well, the last I saw, somebody did have Ortega at 59th, which is the last pick. But I don't know how true that is. I'm still hearing that it's still that he is not in the second round. He's still in like the third round.
Regardless, would you want to go last in everything, or would you want to come back, work on some stuff, and be middle of the second round or beginning of the second round?
I believe he'll come back and work on what they ask him to, and then he'll prove that he can do it, and he'll be beginning of the second round. I mean, you never know. He could end up being late first round. I don't know. But hey, if he plays anywhere close as what he did last year, he's going to prove everybody that last year was not a fluke. I can average double every game.
Oh yeah, and we know he can. But I think that honestly, in my heart, Amari moved up to 48th. Yes,
yeah,
and I'm glad to see that.
I'm glad to see that
he did get invited to the G League Elite Combine.
Well, the thing with Ortega, at Oklahoma, he didn't get any recognition. Nobody looked at him. And then he came to Kentucky and he did what he did this past year. Maybe a lot of players or a lot of scouts are wanting to see, can you do it again? And then he can move up just like that. Yeah, are you consistent? Because at Oklahoma, he played good, but it wasn't like what he did at Kentucky.
Right. But he had a better support system at Kentucky. He had the right kind of guys around him. Pope knows what he's doing when he's putting together a team. We all know he's analytical. And he's looking at guys' stats and he's going, okay, if I put this guy here and I pair him up with this guy here, this guy can cut and backdoor. This guy's great at no-look passes. We're going to put them on the floor together. This guy's going to throw him a no-look pass, and boom, we got points. I mean, Mark Pope knows everything he's doing. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, this team, he's putting it around Ortega thinking that he is going to come back. I mean, he's done said that he believes his heart is, most of his heart is sitting right here in Kentucky, and there's a lot of teams that he still wants to get that one back up on because that they got over him last year. But I believe he'll be back.
Well, let's not forget his mama said all of her kids are going to graduate college.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, how many well-respected, and he's such a respected.
And a lot of these people that's talking has said, well, we don't know that. You don't even know that. Don't mess with mama.
No. and he's so well-mannered and he was brought up so well that I don't see him going against his mama.
No, I do not either. I mean, he's making good money
trying
now.
To find out what he can do to better himself to go up in a better ranking position for the draft next year. That's all I think this is. It's like dipping your toes in the water to see if it's cold or hot. Do I need to add more? Or do I need to take away more? That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that brings us, since we're talking about players, to our player weekly spotlight.
And who might that be? Come on, let's talk about this. Everybody has been wanting to hear about him, and
That
he is
would be
probably the big name on campus right now. So,
JQ, Jaden
okay.
Quaintance. What you got, Jimmy?
Man, I mean, I watched, some of the, he's had couple different interviews with KSR, different other things like that. But, the most of the thing is that the way he talks about how the second coming of Kentucky being on this team now, because, Pope did talk to him last year, and he was just talking about how now he is more familiar with Kentucky. It's a better fit of style of play for him coming from Arizona State after being there for 1 year, and seeing him and his father both have watched what Mark Pope has done and what Kentucky did. And they was so fascinated. And that's why this second coming has came for him coming back to the Big Blue Nation.
Yeah, and everything happens for a reason. And his two of the things that stood out, or a couple of the things that stood out the most in what he said, when in those interviews and things that people have asked him, is one, he said he was excited to get to work on the perimeter more. So that tells me that when he was playing previously, at Arizona State, maybe they didn't have the right guys surrounding him where he could get to the perimeter and be open in the perimeter and actually be able to do that. We all know he likes to dunk, which I know is making Mike very happy.
Yeah.
And then he said he also wants to show off his playmaking ability. So
His
that tells
passing.
me that, and passing, but also his playmaking abilities. Because I think that at Arizona State, he may have been held back. Like they may have been holding him back a little bit because they didn't have all of the guys surrounding him to support him correctly. I think we're going to see, we've seen an amazing Jaden Quaintance up to this point, what he has done. But I think we're going to see a different Jaden Quaintance. I think it's going to be like killer, scoring, going to the basket, dunking. I think it's going to be that. But I think as far as making plays on the court, and creating open shots, I really think that we're going to see a different Jaden Quaintance. He's going to be more free, more open, more able to do Jaden stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think you're going to see Jaden Quaintance 2.0. And I believe last year at Arizona State, he had to do some things that in their offense he is not ever going to probably have to do at Kentucky. It's going to be a wider open. He can get out on the perimeter. He can make better decisions, better passes, use his game the way he knows that he can play. He said he doesn't even think he has scratched the ability of what he has for his game. And he even talked about, that he wants to be the number one draft pick. I'm all for that because
I think he can be.
I believe he is going to show out this year. I do not believe any of the injury is going to affect him. Even a 95% over 100%, 95% is he's probably 10 times better than most players.
All right, Mercury, way to go.
There you go, man. Got that hat.
Got her shirt coming. Nice.
Oh, no, yeah,
Peanut,
got that shirt, yeah.
Peanut, I understand your concern. Coming from somebody, she forgot. Now she sees that there was a code for a discount. Okay. So, Peanut, I understand your concern because of the injury. But coming from someone that has actually had the surgery, and plus I just had it replaced. But, I tore my MCL. Like, I've had knee surgeries. As the person that's injured, am I going to be able to do this again? Am I going to be able to do that again? When your healing process, how it's going. When you're going to be ready to be back to normal. He's just to set your all's mind at ease, Chris. He's not going to our strengthening and conditioning coach.
Not right now.
No. Everything he is getting is state of the art, top of the line. Like they have special people that are working with him. It's not like going to your local hospital or your local rehab or your sports rehab for the team. He's going to specialists. Like that was part of when Pope spoke with Jaden and his dad before he decided to commit to us again. That was one of those, that was one of the things they discussed was, what are your plans for his recovery, for his recuperation, for getting him back to where he needs to be? What can you offer him? You know, so he's not, you know, it's not like normal injuries, normal player stuff. I don't think. I think he's special. And I think he's getting very special attention.
Yeah. And, you know, they're talking about on here that they don't trust our, you know, strength conditioning coaches or anything. You know, a lot of these injuries, it wasn't because they was, you know, maybe improperly lifting techniques or anything. Some of them was just freak accidents, like a shoulder injury. I mean, you can't, you know, you can do all your lifting all you want, but you hurt a shoulder. Same thing about with Kirk Carissa going down with that, you know, that broken
that fracture.
Foot.
That was a freak
and
fracture.
That's a freak thing that happened. The other players, I know they was injured, but most everybody came through the injuries okay. Even Lamont Butler played as much as he could. But when you got an injury like that, it's just nagging. Stroke conditioning coach cannot do anything for you just to try to get you ready for the next game, and hopefully it doesn't injure itself.
Well, here's the thing, too. How many years have they been playing ball?
Well, like, a lot of them's been playing a lot of ball.
Before they come to us, you're looking at 6 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
Before they come to us. So we don't know what kind of damage was previously done to joints, to, you know, bones.
Yeah.
Previously from the wear and tear. Like, it's the same thing as carpal tunnel. You do the same motion all the time, you end up getting issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if they had previous problems or not, something that was in the background that was starting to come through, maybe just bad luck for us. It just showed its ugly face.
I think it was more of a bad luck thing. I know the shoulder, the wrist, the lower back, like, you know, Peanut was talking, but that's just something that happens. I mean, you can't blame the strength and conditioning coach. They can, you know, they can keep everybody. And as far as I know, the strength and conditioning coaches that we have are from like the NFL. You know, they are one of them was from, I think, the Buccaneers. And so it's not their fault that like a nagging shoulder injury or that wrist injury that put Jackson out. You know, I'm knocking on wood this year that we do not have one injury. JQ is going to be back once he gets back into Kentucky, get in the conditioning, you know, program with us. He'll probably already be working out this summer. But yeah, I believe it's going to be a great thing for Kentucky next year. I don't think we're going to have the injury problems that we've had.
I don't think so either. Just to let everybody know, starting next week, we are going to be on Wednesday nights from now on. Like starting next Wednesday, the 14th. Our show will be on Wednesday nights instead of Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Aaron Torres has a show on Thursdays. There's some other shows on Thursdays, other things that are going on. So we would like to give everyone an opportunity to see all the shows rather than having to choose who you want to watch.
Yeah.
So we will be moving to Wednesday nights starting next Wednesday, the 14th at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. But yeah, I mean,
Mark
still
calendars.
Yeah, mark the calendars and hey, everybody, hey, go down there, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, you know, get the notifications. Hey, that way it's going to let you know when our show is on Mondays and when the show is on Wednesdays now. But you'll get alerts even if we go like a live show on a Tuesday or a Saturday. If something happens, you'll still get an alert to let you know that that's coming up. Then you can just go back and rewatch it. But yeah, just go down. It just helps the channel, helps everything. So, but staying with Quaintance, you know, there was a lot of things that they had asked him, and he was talking about, you know, he cannot wait to be in Rupp Arena and see that fan support, see the love that the fans is going to give him on the court once he, starts playing. And he said the reason he's came here, he said, it's to win the NCAA championship.
Yeah, he wants number 9 just as bad as we do. And I think that he would have stayed at Kentucky had Mark Pope been proven himself a little more.
I believe so.
It was just the unknown and the uncertain. And I understand now. Looking back, everybody was like, and I don't want him now and all this stuff. But, now that if you look back, hindsight's 2020, and you realize that they were doing what they thought was best. They wanted to take a wait and see attitude. They saw what Mark Pope did, and they were like, oh, yeah, we want to be there. So I don't think it was anything. It wasn't anything against Kentucky. I think it was just more looking out for JQ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is that he even admitted that he did not shoot real well last year at Arizona State. And I think that was because he was put in, his catch and shoot from about 16 to 8 foot. He was taking a lot of those shots that he will probably not even take in Kentucky.
Right. And we talked about that too. And you get, what was that we said, from 15 to 8 foot, he's kind of sloppy in that range. Yeah. Anything outside of 15, anything inside of 8, he's great.
He's great.
So he needs to work on that 15 to 8 mid-range.
Yeah.
His mid-range jumper, I think, is what really needs the most work.
If he takes a lot of those, he might not even have to worry about taking one. I mean, every now and then, yeah, but he won't be anything dominant that he's going to have to do all the time. And,
but he really likes to go inside. So I see him spending a lot of time in the paint, which is good because then you get the other team to foul you. And then,
yeah. But I mean, he said he wants to improve on his passing, his point guard skills. He said, I'm a 6'10" point guard. He said, I can do this. And the thing is, he's coming in. He knows Jasper. He knows Moreno. They've played in USA camps together.
Yeah.
They've watched film. He said he has actually sat down and watched film footage on every player that Kentucky has brought in for transfers to see how he's going to fit in. Pope has said that he wanted him to do that to get familiar with the players because he said he is not really sat down and talked to them. And it'll be until, when they get on campus this summer and in the fall that he'll actually get to talk to him. But
I was looking back at his stats and things like that, and from like high school. Okay, so you take got to go back to this. You take Travis Perry, scored X amount of points in high school, averaged X amount of points. Okay. And then he comes to Kentucky and, got thrown into the lion's den and, treaded water and did decent. I'm not saying he did bad or anything. He did good for a kid that was thrown into something.
Yeah.
But I look at the stats for JQ and his stats are more consistent. Like he stays around the same numbers. Like he was 15 points a game in high school. He's 6.9 points now. 7. That's better than going down, like all the way down. But like his blocks, his steals, his assists, they all seem to stay around the 2, 3, 4 range. Like he stays consistent. So if Mark Pope can build on that consistency and get the right guys around him, I think it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe I'm with Mercury. Yeah, you are too, Leanne. He will be more dominant here. He said before the injury, he was up to, whatever his weight and stuff. And he said he lost, some during the surgery and rehabbing and stuff. And he said that he has got his weight back, his mass back. And that just before when he was injured, he said he's back at that status of his game. And
he said his quads were in good shape. So he's really been working on his quads, which if in the world of medicine, quads are very important when you have knee. Quads support those muscles support so much of the knee. So, he's getting his quads back. He's back up to his 225 last time they weighed him. He was back up to his 225. So, he's doing the work. He wants to be ready. And if he wants to be ready, he says he feels like he'll be ready in September for sure.
Yeah, he said September to be able to play with contact is what he wants. And, he said he's so excited to move in, to meet his teammates, just to get right here on campus and get to work.
Oh, yeah, for sure. David Enix, what's up, Jimmy Jam? Trent will have a breakout season. We talked about that too. Yeah, we think Trent Noah is really just going to all of a sudden come from somewhere. And Colin Chandler, we think the two of them are really going to just explode. I think Noah's going to be, he's going to be those little back doors he did last year where he follows the ball. If you watch him, he knows where that ball's going to end up before it ends up there. He continuously keeps his eye on the ball. So that's a really good.
And with really great players that we have that is passing ability from our point guard all the way to our big man, he's just going to flourish, and he's going to hit them backdoor cuts, get them, easy layups, and 1 year under his belt is going to be amazing.
Oh, it is. Hopefully he'll be able to get the ball out to the right guy. Peanut, I think that goes back to having Potter as, in practice, somebody that's a big man to go around. I think that the guys that Mark Pope's putting together, the way their spacing is going to be on the floor might be a little different than what we're used to seeing. Mm-hmm. I think that the lineups that he's going to have are going to be guys that are going to complement each other. This one's good at this one's good at this. So I think he'll be able to get the ball to the right guy. I think the more they bang it out in practice, I really think that it's going to be, he's good at passing. He does have good ball handling skills. So if he's saying that's something he wants to concentrate on and work on more, then I don't think that's going to be a problem.
He'll be an outstanding shooter no matter what. But anything else that he improves on, it's not just Trent Noah. It's going to be Colin Chandler. It's going to be Mark Pope said this whole team is going to step up, and they're going to be way better than you saw them last year with one year under their belt. And the expectations for these players, it's like with JQ. Definitely at Kentucky, he is, he's the most talented player that Pope has ever had here. I know, for a big man.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And JQ was sixth in the portal. He was ranked sixth in the portal.
He was listed as the number one defensive player coming out of the portal.
Yeah. So I think honestly, JQ and Trent Noah are going to do really well together. For some reason, I see that combo working.
Yeah. I can see both of them having each other back hey, there ain't nothing going to happen when you got the ball. I'm going to be right where you need me to be. And the same thing with Trent. When he has the ball, JQ is going to be exactly where he needs to be.
I just really see the two of them ending up being a really good combo. In regards to the portal guards Pope brought in, what do you make of them all averaging more turnovers than steals? I think they're good players per se, but you don't want to be negative. Okay, Vandy, Chris. Okay.
Go ahead.
You want okay. I think it has to do with the team you have surrounding you. I don't look at turnovers as being all one person's fault unless it's ridiculously obvious. I think that it really depends on who you've got surrounding you, because if this guy's not on his man, this guy's not on his guy and keeping him over here where he's supposed to be, and you turn over the ball because now you're double teamed, then that guy lost his man. That's not on the person that lost the ball, in my opinion. So I think it all depends on the guys you have around you. And if we have the good ball handlers and the good shooters, you're not sitting there with the ball in your hands for 2 or 3 seconds, 4 seconds, not knowing what to do with it or where to go. I think that having the right guys surrounding you is going to really make a difference with ball handling. I don't think anybody's going to have the ball that long. because of the shooters. And Mike said they won't have the ball in their hands as much. Right.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, if you watched college basketball enough, Vandy Chris, Leanne, me, Big Mike, whoever it is, the more that you have the ball in your hand, if you're playing 35, 40 minutes a game and you're the primary person, you have nobody else around you, you are probably going to have more turnovers than you have assists or steals or anything. But once you are on a team that selectively you've got a great player here, you got a great player there, it's not in your hands 95% of the time, you are going to make better decisions. It's going to be way better for you. And to penalize a player, kind of like just saying if it's Jalen Lowe that he's talking about, it's not Jalen Lowe's fault that he was on a terrible team last year.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think that it all depends on the team surrounding you. You can't blame the one guy.
Yeah.
I think, they say play as a team, one unit. Well, if one unit is sticking, the rest of it's not going to flow right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, every team has had this problem, and they have figured it out once they got better players. But yeah, I mean, you cannot blame a player that is has the ball in their hand 95% of the time.
Right. Son of a gunner said half our turnovers last season were unforced. Okay. And in answer to that, I have a response to that.
Yep.
A lot of those turnovers we had were made by freshmen that got thrown into a situation that they've never been in before because of injuries. Had Jackson Robinson never gotten hurt, Kerr Creasa not gotten hurt, Butler not gotten hurt, Carr not gotten hurt, those guys wouldn't have played. Would our turnovers have still been as high? No. I don't believe they would have.
No.
I think that's why our turnovers were so high. We had 4 guys that were thrown into situations that they weren't used to. They weren't ready for. They needed to get a year under their belt first.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the total of turnovers, I just really think that you can't, it's not a fair comparison, I don't think, just because you're taking a bunch of freshmen that are like, oh my gosh, now we're being thrown in here, as opposed to veteran players. You're looking at it, it's apples to oranges to me.
Well, the thing is, this year, I believe it'll be a lot better with our freshmen because the 2 freshmen we have coming in this year is way more, advanced than, Travis Perry, Trent Noah was last year, Colin Chandler. Now that they've got experience, they've got experience, and this team is going to have a way better assist to turnover ratio.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see him turning. There was a lot of times that even Ortega had the ball in his hand, and he's just not a guard. He's an off guard. He's not wanting to bring the ball up and be a point guard, and that's not what he's going to play in the NBA if he gets there anyhow. But he had some turnovers last year, and it kind of hurt us against that Oklahoma game in the SEC tournament, but but we stepped up and we got the job done. But I don't think we're not going to be in situations like that this year.
I don't think so. I think it's a whole different gambit now. Who was better player, Perry or Noah? I'm gonna say Noah. Yeah,
Perry played great minutes. Yeah,
Perry played great minutes for what he had to work with and what he gave us. I do not slight him one. Thank you, Travis Perry. For all that you did. But I think that Noah's better at keeping his eye on the ball. He doesn't seem as timid when he gets the ball in his hands. Like, what am I going to do? What do I do? And his back doors, like every time he would come around and sneak back door and get that ball, I really think that made a difference. And Williams had a bunch in the beginning. It was a new experience for him being in England and then here. And, there's all kinds of things to get used to. I wanted to update y'all on Perry as well. Vandy did not pay him more than $800K to get him to go to Vandy over Ole Miss. He did, in fact, commit to Ole Miss. Yes, he did commit to Ole Miss.
Yeah, he went to Ole Miss.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we saw that. Kentucky is going to be a totally different team. Perry, I'm kind of glad he went to Ole Miss. That's my thoughts on it. I think he will get better chances at Ole Miss. I think it's a better program for him to be able to grow in. I think it's a better situation for him. Kentucky is going to be a totally different team this year coming, and Colin Chandler is going to make a huge jump this year. Yeah, he just got married today. Another congratulations to
congratulations
Colin
again.
Wife.
Yeah.
So he's got her on him, nagging him now. So he'll do better.
Yeah.
And don't forget, y'all, starting next Wednesday, the 14th, we will now be on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. So mark your calendars. Make sure you change your phones. If you subscribe, which we hope you click the like button.
Hit that and hit
subscribe.
that subscribe.
That way you don't miss us, because why would you miss us?
But yeah, I mean, we were still, talking about JQ. He's going to be an elite rebounder, rim protector. I mean, I would say with the last couple players that I could imagine him mimicking is like Bam Adebayo, Nerlens Noel, protecting the rim. I don't know if he'll be as good of a shot blocker as Nerlens, but I believe that he has the physicality and the quickness to be just as good, or not better, than both of those players at Kentucky. Is on a comparison with offense and defense. I believe he's going to be a lot better offensive player than Bam or Noel was.
Would you ever compare Jaden Quaintance to a Patrick Patterson?
That could be that type, because Patterson could hit the three. He could run the court. Both players can both do that. I believe he's maybe a little bit more physical than Patterson.
I think so too. That's the only thing I would change.
Andre Riddick. Andre
Riddick's a good one. That's a very good comparison.
I mean, there's some good players, big men that's came through Kentucky that he could compare with and either be as good or better. I mean,
wingspan of a 747. No kidding. Like, you got to clear the court when he comes running. Tell him don't be doing this.
I mean, this is good. He's not going to be that timid type player that, I mean, we saw a lot last year with Williams and Carr that just would not go up and dunk. And I don't know if it was just that they could not do it. They were scared to do it, whatever. But he is not going to be afraid to go up and dunk or block you. And there was a lot of times that Williams or Carr, they would kind of pass up on trying to knock a shot down.
Yeah, but you got to look at it. For how many weeks did Andrew Carr have back problems? You ain't trying to dunk if you got back problems.
I wouldn't either. I don't think so either.
So I think we didn't see as much out of Andrew Carr last year as we could have.
Yeah,
had he been healthy. I think he had a lot more physicality to him, but I think unfortunately the injuries took away from that.
Yeah.
No comparing the two. Perry is a 6-foot guard. Noah's a 6'5" forward. Jake. Yeah, I mean, that's like apples to oranges. You really can't compare the two. But if I had to pick the one I think did better for the team and did better as a freshman being thrown into a situation, I think Noah handled it better.
I do too.
How about that? Maybe not a better player, but maybe he handled it better.
He handled it. I think he maybe was.
I think that's a
little bit more, maybe a little bit more ready for the game of SEC.
Maybe the nerves. It was the nerves.
The nerves. And maybe he was just maybe a little bit more, used to that type, or, mature a little bit more.
Right. I'm really excited for Mo.
Yeah. That's one. Cam Williams is another player I'm excited to see. I mean, these players are going to, even with, JQ, year 1 to year 2, you're going to see flashes of things you've never seen what he did last year at Arizona State.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to see like I said, a whole new JQ. Like, not whole new, but like, I think his game is going to just totally just blow up because he's going to have the right guys around him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making sure of that.
He's got Jelly. He's going to be right there with it. He's got Brandon Garrison. Jelly's going to be playing on the wing, but he's going to be on the wing himself a lot of times too. But Garrison, with Reese coming in, he's got everybody that's going to have his back. He's not going to have to be doubled and triple teamed like he was last year at Arizona State.
Right. was trying to think who else there's somebody else I was wanting to talk about. Aberdeen.
Yeah, Denzel.
I'm kind of excited for him too.
I kind of maybe think he could start. It's going to be between him and Jasper, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, either one of them, I don't think you can go wrong. And both of them are both going to play probably about the same amount of minutes anyhow, because they're going to be subbing for each other. I seen that he was talking about a
good nickname for JQ.
Nobody. Yeah, if you got any ideas, come up with it.
He's got one though. I've seen it somewhere on Instagram. He's got a nickname, but we need to come up with something. But I already call Yelovich Jelly.
Oh, we call him Jelly. I'm going to call Mo D. I'm going to call him Cool Mo D. And then Otega, I call him Otegatron.
Yeah, Tegatron was his nickname. He loved anyway.
That was his nickname. That's what I call him anyhow.
So, we need one for JQ. That's for sure. Besides JQ.
Yeah.
But Pope is putting together the perfect team. I think we as the Big Blue Nation are about to see something amazing that we have been waiting for years. Peanut percent chance Aberdeen's mom was a Denzel Washington fan.
Well, she could have been. Yeah,
it could have been.
Jasper's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, Jasper's going to be unbelievable. I mean, if you watch him, he's a silky smooth left-handed player. He gets to the rim so easy. His shot is effortless.
He's smooth.
He's just so smooth. He's going to be one of them smooth operators that is just going to turn it out. And when he's on the court, you're going to see magic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Otega's going to be way better this year.
Yeah.
Carl. That's why he's at the combine right now.
Yeah.
What, if any, concerns do you have with the team? My only concerns with the team, that's it. I got none.
I don't have anything. I know people said, well, we're not going to shoot as many threes. Hey, we really don't.
That's not a concern, though.
That's not a concern to me. But people are freaking out. We ain't going to shoot 35 threes. We do not need to shoot 35 threes. We can get by with shooting 20. And if you make 7 or 8 of them, and we are going to be a better defensive team, we're going to stop a lot of teams from scoring as many points as they did last year against us, and we're going to score just as many as we did last year. I don't know that we'll average 95 or 90 or 85, but if we just score 80 every game, we get up to like Mike wants to be scoring 95 points a game. I know that, but we're going to outscore teams whether we do it in the post or on the perimeter, on fast breaks, everything.
I would rather take 23-point shots and go in the paint and get and ones all day long. More, and foul out the other team, because if they're putting pressure on you, how do you stop that? You get take the player out of the game.
Take the player out of the game.
If you can't take the game out of the player, you take the player out of the game. When you need somebody out of that game, if you know somebody will, like Big Z, if you go to the paint and you go up against Big Z's going to foul you.
Yeah.
So I would much rather have us shooting less threes and going in the paint more for sure points, fouls on the other team, and ones. I'd much rather do that than sink threes all day, because you can't rely on a three. But by golly, you go in that paint and I like having 3-point threats. But if they're going after the guy outside and you can dish it inside and get somebody up in the paint, foul. I mean, every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I would much rather have that scenario.
Yeah. Peanut was saying, that, with the 3-point threat, that's his philosophy. And it's still going to be. Everybody on this team can hit the 3-point shot.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
And so it's not that we're not going to try to take 35, but if we don't take 35, it's going to be okay.
Right. And like I said, on the games where we're not, I would much rather be in the paint. Like Mike said, you get 2 fouls in a player.
2
They're
fouls.
now playing timid.
Yep. That's a lot of what we did not get done last year. We did not get a lot of teams in foul trouble early. And I believe this team is going to be able to be physical, get to the basket. And when they do get to the basket, it ain't going to be easy, a throw up. We're going to go to the basket hard. And if we're going to make sure we get fouled.
We're going to be postering.
Yes.
But I will say this in defense of the free throw shooting.
Yeah.
The team that we have put together right now, collectively, averages 8 to 12% higher in free throw shooting than the team last year.
Yeah.
So I think our free throw shooting is going to really improve because the players that we've got coming in have higher percentages of free throws. Because Jaden Quainton's had like 74 point something percent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really think that that's going to help too. I think it's going to round it out a little bit better.
Yeah.
As a concern, I would just say that while UK has gotten some solid players, everyone else is getting solid or great players as well. I don't think UK has added enough to jump UT, Bama, Auburn, and Florida. Okay. So since you're going to bring up UT, Bama, and Auburn and Florida, Jimmy and I were talking. So every year we played Bama 3 times last year. And, we would much rather play Florida and Arkansas twice than to have to play Bama. Or who was the other one?
Well, we usually play this year. We played Vandy twice. We do not need to play Vandy twice.
That's it. It was Vandy was the other one.
We do not need to play. Yeah, we do not need to play Alabama twice. We need to go back to playing Florida twice. Okay, we can play Tennessee twice, and we can play Arkansas twice. That's our big 3 right now that everybody wants to see. They don't want to see us playing Vanderbilt twice. They don't want to see us playing Alabama twice. I don't want to see it.
Me neither. Or 3 times. But I think that is I think the quality, everybody can get great players.
Yeah. Well,
but it's what you do with that talent and how you piece that talent together. Everybody can have the same puzzle with all the pieces fit. But if you don't put the right ones together in the right spots, it's not going to work the same as it would for somebody else.
Exactly. I mean,
I could take 2 of the best players, and you could take 2 of the best players, and we put them against each other. It's everybody else surrounding them that's going to make them who they are. It's not that player. So I don't think other teams getting good players. Yeah. I think it's how they're put together that matters.
And he was saying that we wouldn't jump Tennessee, Bama, Auburn, or Florida. All 4 of those teams are not even projected in the top 15 of the top 25 way too early. Kentucky and Arkansas.
Florida is.
Florida, they are in the top 25, but they're not in the top 10.
Right.
Kentucky and Arkansas is the only 2 teams that's ranked in the top 10 right now of the SEC. So UT, Bama, Auburn, and Florida is not even close to what Arkansas or Kentucky is right now.
Carl Miller says Alabama won't be as good this year as they were last year. They don't have Mark Sears, somebody to go to the basket, and the referee to call a foul every time. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. All of that is gone. They will suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm guessing Pope is going to try to play fast and physical. Foul trouble and fatigue should never be a problem. I agree with you, Peanut. I don't think foul trouble and fatigue is going to be an issue with the team that we've got, with the bench that we've got. So fast and physical. He kept saying we need to get more physical. We need more physicality. And now we're getting the players that are going to be more physical. That is fair. But the past 3 years, UK and Bandy has been solid series and not one-sided. UK is 4-3 in that. It's a series you played twice a year for 50 years. Okay, Vandy, that's not so. It's the Bama thing that bothers me.
It's the Bama thing. I don't care if it's Vandy. We've never played Arkansas twice a year. It's only been one.
So I would take Florida, Vandy, and Tennessee over
I would
take.
I don't want Bama. But Florida, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, that'd be fine with me to play twice a year. But
I just don't want to play Bama twice.
Yeah, there's no use to play Bama, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, any of Georgia. We don't need to play any of them teams because they're not a rival. Now, we've had Vandy has never really done it. I mean, they beat us in the SEC championship. I think the one year that we won the championship, and it was well deserved. But besides that, Vandy has never really done it. I don't hate Vanderbilt. Now Tennessee,
don't mind Vanderbilt at all.
Yeah, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisville, Dukes.
Arkansas wasn't on that list until.
Yeah, not until a couple years. Yeah, this past year. I really didn't hate Arkansas. I really hate Arkansas right now.
They're on my list now.
Yeah, they are.
They're on my karma list.
But I mean, Vandy, Chris, I mean, we're with you. We'd love to play Vanderbilt twice every year. I love seeing that floor Kentucky playing, at Vanderbilt. I love seeing Vanderbilt come up here to Rupp. It's a good rivalry, and it's been pretty much even. He said we're up 4-3. But I would love something like that. I mean, okay, and
it's been played for 50 years. That's tradition.
I'm
fine with that. But games like you said, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi, those are
when you switch Alabama with Florida, what are you doing?
Right. What's the point of that?
There's a lot of Kentucky. There's a lot of Kentucky people that live and then they go vacation to Florida in the wintertime, and they always go to Gainesville to watch a UK basketball game. Well, this year they didn't get to do that.
Right. Peanut says Tennessee and Vandy are a permanent home and home opponents. The third is decided by previous year standings. We probably play Mizzou twice next year. And I understand that.
Well,
and I understand that's
guess, yeah.
My issue with it is the teams that are in that group that they pick from to make us play twice, they need to take some of them out of there because Mizzou doesn't need to be in that.
Mizzou doesn't be in there.
I understand it's by standings, but there should be like a list. There should be a list. If Kentucky's going to play twice a year, these are the only teams they're allowed to play twice a year.
Well, if it goes by standings right now, Florida ought to be, because they've won the national championship. So it should be Florida
home and home.
And home and home. It should be Vandy and then keep Tennessee.
Right. If they go by standings.
Yeah. And then next year, if Arkansas is the best SEC team besides Kentucky,
we know.
Then we'll play Arkansas next year.
Vandy, Chris, I would like UK to beat Tennessee every time we play them too. Yeah. I don't like them. Orange is the sucky color.
All right. I'm going to ask this question. The Louisville, Kentucky game, we're playing on November 11th. Okay.
Possibly 7 o'clock.
Probably 7 o'clock. Okay. Right now, Pope is 1-0 against Louisville and Pat Kelsey. Okay. This game is being played real early. Both teams is going to have to adjust. Both teams are going to be way better in
We're going to hope we're ready.
And hopefully both teams are, real good, and we have a real good competitive game. Hope Kentucky comes out on top. But what do you think Kentucky's record for the next 9 games out of 10? What do you think Kentucky's record's going to be? And do you not care if we win the game and then we're the better team at the end of the year and go way further? Or do you want to just win this game and don't care what the rest of the season is?
Dude, I want to win this game and go further and be the best.
I'm the same way, but if we did lose,
if I had to pick, if somebody said to me, if you beat Louisville, you're going to suck the rest of the season. Or if you
there you go, Mercury. Mercury said 9-0. Mercury said 9-0.
Yeah, I would take 9-0.
And then that makes it we're 10-0. Mark Pope's 10-0 against Pat Kelsey and Louisville. But
I would take that.
I mean, even if we lost a nail biter to Louisville this year, and at the Yum Center, but if Kentucky makes a Elite 8 Final Four run and Louisville loses in the first round or the Sweet 16, I would take it. I
would too. I'm not going to say I wouldn't.
Yeah. I have to take a loss if we got a loss. I mean, I had to take the Arkansas loss, and I thought that was a for sure win. But I had to eat crow. I had to eat crow.
So I will probably, with the Yum Center being literally across the river from me, I will probably be at that game if I can.
Well, you better get the tickets now because I'm sure they're going to be high, and they'll probably they'll sell out quick. Yeah.
I got friends.
You got friends. Get them tickets. I'll be here in Lexington, watching it right here.
If I can go, I will be there. But my only issue with it is they put the Yum Center in the dumbest place they could have put it, and traffic like it's right by the 2nd Street Bridge, and that's the way I have to go to get home. And to get your car, it takes it's literally by the bridge, but it would take me probably an hour to get out and get home. So I may just stay home so I don't have to deal with the traffic.
Well, when you go, did you park in the parking structure underneath the building?
Actually, the last time I went to a game, I parked in across the street at down one Bourbon Bar. There's a parking garage there.
Yeah.
And that's where I parked. I don't park in the structure underneath the Yum Center.
Yeah. I've never been to a game. I went to a concert.
They don't let people park down there for games like they do concerts because you've got the team buses and all that stuff down there and everything.
Yeah, I watched a concert there and I got to stay underneath, and it was easy getting in because I just right off of Riverfront and just got on to, I guess it was Watterson or whatever, but it was easy in, easy out.
Well, see, I live in Indiana, so I'm trying to come across the bridge that's right next to it.
I don't know anything. Chinese player.
Never heard of him.
That would be playing college basketball. Lin.
No, look. Yeah. If you read that name, it sounds like something funny. If you read it fast, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't even know.
I'm not going to say it
because that's kind of like the. Yeah, no. I'm not saying it.
No.
I saw Kentucky. Well, I say Kentucky won't lose more than 4 games all next season.
Well, I'll take 4 losses and a national championship.
I'll take that. Peanut, I have to look and see if that's a real player. Because
I don't know if that's a real player.
Oh, you funny.
Yeah, he just came back up on there with a no comment. Yeah, I believe that's
he's silly. See, at least I read stuff before I say something.
Yeah, I now that I've seen it, I'm not.
I'm like,
son of a gunner. Son of a gunner. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Mercury, I'll take 40-0 too. I mean,
I wasn't gonna say that. You're trolling.
But
well, I'm smarter than the average bear, so I read stuff before I say it.
Yeah, I'm glad after you said it, I'm glad I looked at it. I was like, wow. But I'll take 40-0. I mean, we was the closest to 40-0 ever. So
we were.
It has to be us to do it.
It does. It's got to be this team. It's got to be.
Yeah, son of a gunner. Yeah, you go down and wash them hands. Yeah,
go wash them hands after that. Everybody remember.
If not, we're going to have 21 start trolling you all.
Oh my gosh, they don't want. They
don't want 21 to troll them.
Don't forget, y'all. Next Wednesday night, our show will be on Wednesday, starting next Wednesday.
Yep, next Wednesday,
the 14th, at 7 p.m. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family.
I know, we still got the, the Purdue game in exhibition. We're playing on the 11th. I believe we might have a regular season game between.
Purdue's not on the 11th.
No, that's exhibition. I'm talking about before the Louisville game.
Oh, yeah.
Actual game, maybe on like what we were saying, maybe the 4th or the 8th. And that'd be a Tuesday or a Saturday before the 11th of that Tuesday. So
I say that we'll play Purdue, and then we'll have 2 games in between on the 4th and the 8th, and then we'll play Louisville.
Yeah.
So we're looking at like 4 games under our belt before we.
Yeah. And then, we still got Michigan State in the Champions Classic. That's going to be played in New York. Gonzaga at Nashville, Indiana at Rupp, St. John's in the CBS Sports Classic in Catlanta. And then we got Bellarmine on the schedule. They still haven't said who's going to be the ACC SEC challenge game. I'm suspecting Duke, North Carolina, one of them.
You know what? I in my head, I keep thinking North Carolina. And the reason that North Carolina keeps ringing in my head is we beat Duke last year. And I just have North Carolina. For some reason, I believe we're going to play North Carolina.
Well, I mean, it's something different. We've played, we might not have to play Duke this year, but if we don't play them this year, we'll probably play them next year in the SEC, ACC challenge. So it doesn't really matter. Duke, North Carolina, it's just a good game that we're going to have at Rupp Arena this year. But they'll probably save it so that Duke will be able to play on their home court against us next year.
Right. And that may be because that's really good marketing, and that's it might all be about contracts and things like that now too.
And then I think we got North Carolina Central. We're going to be playing them at Rupp. I don't know what time that might be one game that we play before the Louisville game.
And that may be a warm-up game for us.
Yeah, that they said that is on the schedule, but they said it's to be determined, what date. So that could be on the 4th or the 8th, right before we play Louisville. So
it could be. Oh, and yes, Carl, you're right. Rupp will be sold out for that.
Oh yeah, that I've seen people say that they didn't think that they would fill that arena for exhibition game. They filled it with every exhibition game we've always played. It's always been sold out.
Purdue's going to be crazy because
Purdue's going to be
so close.
Crazy.
Like they got to come past my house to get there.
Yeah.
Mercury said she had a question. When Mark starts getting us chips, do you think he would ever leave Kentucky for the NBA like Pitino did?
No. He's not an NBA type player.
He's not. He wants the calmer life, the family life, he doesn't want all that hubbub and commotion, and that's not a Mark Pope thing.
But I
don't see him ever.
He is going to give us chips. I mean, that's guaranteed. We're going to get chips under Mark Pope. We've got Mark Pope for 20 plus years.
At least. Peanut says BBN waiting all year for this team with probably a crappy football team.
Oh, well, me and you talked about that last night.
We've had a crappy football team.
We've had a crappy football team. Might as well I'll be surprised if we win.
Be honest.
Games.
Be honest.
Yeah. I'll be honest.
Look, I can't plead the fifth. I got to be honest. We've had a crappy football team. We have no offensive line. No wonder our quarterbacks are getting hurt. If you don't have guys protecting the quarterback's going to get hurt. How many of our past quarterbacks have been injured? You're talking about injuries, and you're talking about conditioning coaches. What if you don't have guys protecting you? Well, hello, there's your injuries. And like I said, it goes back to the guys you have around you.
Well, when they go to a good bowl game, then I'll start watching Kentucky football again. But I figure this year is going to be 4 and out. We're going to win 4 games and lose the rest.
I think we'll win 5.
Well, maybe 5.
I've got one more than you.
They will not make a bowl game. If they
don't make me name them though, because I'll name one that we should win and we won't, and then we'll win something that we shouldn't, and I'll be like,
I'm not naming them or anything, but I'll be surprised if we win 4 or 5 games. We will not win a bowl game.
Can I just say, if Mark Stoops, this is going to be Mark Stoops last year.
Yeah.
If Mark Stoops would let the offensive coordinator do his job.
Exactly.
The defensive coordinator do his job. The special teams coach do his job. Instead of saying everything needs to come to me first, everything needs to run through me, where he gets the last say, we would have a decent team.
Well,
but by Mark Stoops having to have his finger in every pot, he needs to just stop, because if he would let the guys do their jobs and run their teams, we would have a decent team.
Well, I mean, he pulled the carpet under Leigh Coleman's feet a lot of times. He's done it with the defensive coordinator. If he wants control of it, don't have a defensive coordinator, don't have an offensive coordinator, and you just do it all yourself.
But exactly. But my issue with that is his way's not working, because his way gets players hurt. Because first of all, we don't have an offensive line. We need to build the big blue wall back up and all that good stuff. But if he's not like the offensive coordinator knows what his guys can do. He's with them every day. He knows why. That's like me having an employee, and I know what they do and what they do well. And when I tell them to do something, and somebody that doesn't work, like it doesn't have a dog in the fight, wants to change what they're supposed to do, then everybody else is like, well, what the heck? And then it doesn't go real well. So he needs to let the coaches do their jobs. And adding 2 more SEC games is going to do nothing but hurt us.
Is he talking about for football, basketball?
Football.
I mean, for football is what I've been heard. I don't think we're going to add 2 more teams in basketball anytime soon. It might happen, 5 or 6 years down the road. But as far as I know, we're not adding anything for basketball. Football, I don't know. That just makes the season start earlier, or either it's going to extend longer.
I would think it would extend it.
But, you got a 12-team tournament now in football. So are they going to push that back 2-3 weeks and get 2 extra games to play?
Or lose a bye.
Or are we just going to not play some of those SEC teams, but once a year, and then some of them you never play? There's some teams we don't never play. So
I know Mark Stoops wants to have full control that way. If they do win and make a good bowl game, he gets credit. Yep, I would agree. And yes, it is football. I don't watch Kentucky football. I wouldn't watch them. Bryan Station High School could be Kentucky.
Well, I mean, I'll leave that one alone. But I know there's a lot of great football fans that wish that they was good, but this just is not good. And the best thing is for Stoops should have packed up and left last year.
Yeah, he should have. But can I also say, Peanut's talking about, this football getting hurt by this era, bowl games mean nothing. I will agree with you 100%. And here's my thoughts on it. Remember when we had just the original bowl games?
Yeah, everybody played.
Bowl games in football were a great thing. However, with the fact that now they just make up new bowl games, they just every time you turn around, there's a new bowl game, and it just seems like it's just too much. Like everybody gets a trophy. Like there's not even you don't even have to be that great to end up winning one. You get to go to a bowl game even if it sucks.
That's true.
So that's
and it's like a lot of the players just opt out not to play because they don't want to. If they're good, they ain't going to want to hurt their chances. Now, if they was playing in the the 12-team playoff, they're probably going to play. But now that you got all these bowl games, Mayonnaise Bowl, Mayo Bowl,
the Taco the Tax Act Bowl, Tax Slayer Bowl, or whatever.
Duke Bowl or whatever.
The Duke Mayonnaise Bowl.
They ain't going to play in these games. Who cares? They get a free Nintendo system and stuff and all this other things that they give you for free. You're not going to play.
There's going to be a cheddar cheese bowl. No, I'm just kidding. There's not a cheddar cheese bowl, but I'm just saying they make up all these bowl games. Like I remember when their top 30 is plenty for bowl games. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
that's way too many in my opinion.
Yeah, let the other teams just pack it up.
30 is too many.
Yeah. And let the other teams the other teams, hey, you're done. That's the end of the year,
Yeah, and be done with it. I just think that's the dog hair bowl.
Dog hair bowl.
Well, they got the puppy bowl. I guess they would have dog hair bowl.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
We could have the pizza bowl, the salad bowl, the soup bowl.
You can have the toilet bowl.
Yeah, that's another one. That's for the bad teams.
Oh, there you go, Peanut. No.
The worst teams. Peanut. There you go again.
There we go.
Goober. That ball game called the Loser Bowl. Kentucky would be the first team in. They should have the toilet bowl for the 2 worst teams and let them play so they at least get a trophy for something. Have the toilet bowl and have it be the worst 2 teams in the worst 2 records. Let them play in the toilet bowl. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Remember, next Wednesday, not Thursday, 7 p.m. May. Oh my gosh, May 14th.
May 14th.
Next Wednesday,
May
7
14th.
p.m.
7 p.m. As
We will
long as
be on Wednesday nights.
everything goes great, we're going to be here. And this has been a great show.
It has.
We love talking with you all, answering questions. I mean, with Peanut and Son of
Cutting up,
Gunner,
answering
cutting up.
questions,
I'm hoping this just keeps on going. Yeah, I saw you, Son of Gun. 100%. Yeah, we are. We're here for you.
You guys
all.
are the best.
And if it wasn't for you guys that's sitting here talking to us right now, we wouldn't even be doing the show. That's the greatest compliment
right.
to me and Leanne, Big Mike, 21 BC. That's the biggest compliment to us that y'all can give us, is just being on here for this show and giving us advice, giving us questions to talk something about basketball. And we got a long time until it starts back up,
because we all know
here.
we miss it. We all know we miss basketball already. So at least with you guys, we can talk about it on Wednesday nights from now on, and kind of get a fix of Kentucky basketball.
That's it. Well, this has been a great show. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Big Mike, he's got the happy fingers going on. But, yeah, we just want to say thank you, everybody, for being on here. Thank you, Leanne, for being here with me. It's an honor. I promise you that.
Thanks, Jimmy. It's always so much fun having these shows with you, and I appreciate you and Big Mike so much. Thank you, everybody. Go Cats.
Go Cats.